Atlas is bringing all the scaled personalization of Facebook to the rest of digital, helping marketers reach real people with real results, actual business impact. From an ad tech perspective, this is a big step forward. But perhaps more interesting is the actual feedback that we're getting from marketers as we've been showing them the real product for the first time over the course of the last day. Overwhelmingly, we're getting feedback that Atlas is the first tool to bring a simple solution to give them confidence, right, to a much more universal problem as Atlas solves cross-device.
So, Jonathan, you're the first partner on Atlas. Can you give us any insights to your thought process here?
Well, at Omnicom, we're very excited and honored to be the first partner of Facebook and Atlas in this. We are excited about this because it solves a huge problem for us, which is to put the right message in front of the right person at the right time across the right devices. And what Facebook is allowing us to do is figure out how all these behaviors stitch together and work on mobile, which has been a huge problem for us as a marketer.
So I've been on the ad serving side and the measurement side for probably 20 years at this point. So I'm curious, when you guys think about this announcement, talk a little bit about maybe what's more important or each, with measurement versus the actual ad server here.
Well, I think that's sort of a chocolate in the peanut butter kind of question. The trick here is that you need the data in order to point the messages at the right place. So it's the combination of the data, the first-party data, the connection of the devices, connected to an ad server so that you can deliver that message to a user and create the right impression. It's the two of them together that make the most sense for us.
I'm not sure I can beat chocolate and peanut butter, so I think that sums it up pretty well.
Right. I mean, the combination of the two is a very powerful thing, one that 2-3 years ago in the ad serving industry we didn't have.
That's right.
So, Jonathan, why go first?
We believe in the solution. We think this is a great solution for our clients. We think that it'll have the most impact. We think it'll be the most efficient way to deliver the messages that our clients want, connected through the system, and ultimately drive towards commerce.
I think the three of us have spent a lot of time over the last couple of months talking about what does this really mean for the industry. So I'd be curious, Dave, just your thoughts on what does it mean holistically for the industry and where we're going?
Yeah. Look, we've all been kind of immersed in ad tech for a very long time. But it really hit me yesterday as we were starting to meet with folks for the first time and really show the product, what this is doing. I mean, the last time a communications vehicle of this magnitude hit this point was in the 1950s when television surpassed radio. In 2013, for the first time, digital eclipsed television in time spent. Mm-hmm. Yet there's a bit of an imbalance, right? If you just take mobile that's driving most of this digital, you're talking about a quarter of the time spent, and you're talking about 10-ish% of the budgets that follow with that. The look on the marketers' faces when they look and they see there's finally a simple tool that brings accuracy to this measurement and personalization, you kind of look and begin to see a chasm that's being crossed. Mm-hmm. And so we're in year 2 of what television did, and it fundamentally changed our lives over the course of the next 50 years. So I'm excited for the future.
I mean, since I've been in digital, there's always been a divide between time spent versus money. So it's not a new issue from the standpoint of our industry. Jonathan, any thoughts on what you think it means to the industry?
I think this tying of all of this together and doing it across the platforms, we all know that people are spending huge amounts of time at their desktops, increasingly at tablets, and we've watched a massive wave of mobile smart devices evolve here in the past, really, I guess, 8 years since the advent of the iPhone. Connecting all of these things together and then shifting video over to this and making it addressable and accountable is massive for this industry. And I think the solutions that we're coming up with are much more focused on, once again, putting the right message in front of the right person at the right time on the right device. And that will start to move dollars.
Right.
And that will connect marketing to commerce, which I think is the next big wave. And likewise kick off a revolution in creativity, which is something I think that often gets forgotten in these very technical conversations.
Really good point.
Around dynamic messaging and focusing on what is that right combination of creative and message that resonates with the people on the other end of the transaction.
Well, creative to me, I grew up initially in the ad serving side on the creative side of it. It seems as though the needle's moved from creative to automation, and we've lost a little bit of the creative, and I think there's an opportunity here to re-energize creative in the context of understanding who the person is on the other side. And the other thing I hear from advertisers all the time, being in the measurement business, is customer journey. They want to understand the customer journey, where they touch the customer or the prospect throughout the journey, where they spend their time, and frankly, depending on the demographic, you're likely to see a different journey and a different set of touch points and a different message that may make somebody convert.
You know, it's interesting when you talk to the engineers who are working on Atlas. You know, the journey started with personalization at scale, and there's a big passion around all of the work that not just the Facebook engineers, but now the Atlas engineers do around that personalization, and there's a thirst to shift it back to get good content. And when you talk to when you talk to consumers about advertising, you know, there's a huge fundamental difference. We heard Cheryl talk yesterday about the difference between her taste in movies and her husband's taste in movies. I'm in that same boat. I'm on the opposite side of that equation. And the obstacles that the engineers start to talk about that they hit to bring personalization to the rest of digital really hit home at the cross-device problem. And that ended up becoming our focus because of the personalization problem.